I rise today in support of this legislation, the Buffalo Soldiers in National Park Study Act, which will allow the Department of Interior to study the role of Buffalo soldiers and how they defended our first national parks. This is a key step in preserving the legacy of the Army's first African American infantry and cavalry units and the contributions they made to our nation. This bill will evaluate the feasibility of a national historic trail along the Buffalo Soldiers' route from their historic military posts in the San Francisco Presidio to Yosemite and Sequoia National Parks. The study will also identify properties that could be listed in the National Register of Historic Places or designations as National Historic Landmarks. For several years, Buffalo Soldier regiments traveled 320 miles along this route to patrol the parklands for loggers and poachers, build new trails, and escort visitors. The Buffalo Soldiers were among our very first park rangers, a challenging task these troops took on with pride after serving bravely in the Civil War. Because of the color of their skin, the Buffalo Soldiers were all too often marginalized, and instead of respected for their service to our nation, both on and off the battlefield. However, during their time protecting the parks, they not only confronted racism and discrimination, they overcame it. They became respected neighbors and friends to people living in the park regions, and they made real inroads towards racial progress that were extraordinary for their day. Although they were assigned to watch over government property for only a relatively short time, the Buffalo Soldiers helped lay the groundwork for some of this wilderness to be preserved forever. I'm proud that the Buffalo Soldiers traveled through my district on their way to the parks, and I believe this bill will help shine a light on the history they made in the great state of California and in many places across the country. All Americans from all walks of life would benefit from learning about this often overlooked chapter in our history. The Buffalo Soldier story is ultimately about the triumph not just of African American troops over prejudice and injustice, but about the movement of our nation towards a more tolerant and courageous society. I thank my colleagues for supporting this bill, and I yield back.